So what's up? It's Hydra and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my Bloxburg city. I'm so excited for you guys to see some of these new buildings because I've been working super hard. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it because I know you guys are excited. Alright, so the first building that I'm going to work on for this video is the post office, and I'm just starting off with a shape, and I was sort of trying to figure out a way to get a staircase in so that you could get to the top levels because obviously the post office isn't going to be 4 stories tall, like that's too much. I'm going to have some apartments right above. And so I'm just getting down the shape, adding some doors and windows, and just kind of seeing what I want. Over here, I decided that I wanted it to be a double-sided building just because there's so much of the outside that will be open and not next to another building. So that's just kind of what I'm sketching out here. As you can see, I placed on my roofs, and now I'm going to do some trim just to accentuate it a little bit. Alright, and now it is time for some pillars, so I'm just going to copy those over. I think the pillars are one of the main things that's making like all these buildings in the city cohesive together, and I really like how they look. And now I'm trying to decorate each of the entrances to make it look a little bit more welcoming, I would say. And yeah. So if you know me, you know I like to get the shape done before I like to start coloring anything. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm moving on to some trims. So just like baseboards and then a little bit of ceiling trim towards the ceiling, obviously. Pretty self-explanatory. And then I might start coloring a little bit later. At first I was going to put a sign here, but then I realized that I'm too lazy to make decals, so I am going to remove that off camera, but that was the intention. So now I have the windows down for the upper level, and now I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the lower levels. I tried to keep them a little bit simple, so I'm adding some wall trims just to separate it a little bit, and yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and start coloring this build. I'm actually going to be using linen in this build for the first time in this whole city, and one of the only times I do believe. So that's a little different because I use it literally every day pretty much. And I'm using this inside part as a little accent wall, and the rest is going to be white. And now I'm going to add some windows and stuff to this inside section. I eventually decided that I wanted to have some balconies here because I thought it would be kind of cool. So that's what I'm doing now. And now, of course, for the one Christmas decoration that is available all year in the catalog, besides the reindeer decoration randomly, is the lights, of course. So I'm going to place those pretty much everywhere because they just look really good and I can. So now I'm going to add some garland. Fun fact, in the place that I currently am in with the city, excuse me, I actually just ran out of garland. So gonna have to wait for the Christmas update on that one, but it's fine, I guess. I might have to delete my $1 million mansion, which is actually one of the only builds that I haven't deleted. I even deleted my Paradise Pier, but I might have to do that because I'm running out of decorations really quickly. Um, yeah. Something cool that you can do is if you just paint dirt piles white, they look like piles of snow. You can place them all over your roof and they look really realistic. I especially like to place them in like any of the like cracks or crevices because that's where the snow would melt the slowest. Okay, so just wait a couple minutes till I figure everything out because I will admit at first this window setup looks absolutely terrible. Like I've never made anything more disgusting in my entire life. Um so just give me a minute to fix it. It does get way better. I also found that I really enjoy adding these like indents to the buildings instead of like windows on the bottom floors. I think it looks really good and I'll definitely keep doing it. All right, so one of the last things that I'm going to do for this build is fix this random spot in the middle. I thought it looked a little bit empty, but of course I couldn't put a window there because that looked ugly and we already tried that. So instead, I'm adding this ladder and I thought it looked really good. So, anyways, moving on, this building is going to be the restaurant. There might be more than one. I haven't really figured that out yet. But I kind of decided to make this similar to my like fall cafe from last year. So that's kind of the vibe I'm going for, like modern and dark. So just kind of see how this goes down. So at first, I wanted to make this a tall building. Whoa, you can tell I'm tired. I am filming this at 11:30 p.m. Don't tell my parents though. So anyways, so I wanted to make this like a tall building at first, but then I thought it would be better just to stay at 3 stories, like two and a half, for the door part. I'm also putting a decal here, which I will eventually delete because I don't want to make the decals to go inside of them. But anyways, so I'm gonna color this and it will change a couple times because I just didn't really feel like it matched the vibe, but that's okay. And everything is just trial and error. I don't think I've talked about it yet in this video, but I did talk about it a bunch in part one. I'm basically keeping the gardening all the same throughout because similarly to the pillars, I wanted to find a way to make all of the buildings cohesive, even though they're going to have different color schemes and different styles. So this was my solution in addition to the pillars, which is to just keep the gardening the same. And I think it worked out really well. Honestly, this city was completely like built upon the idea of Christmas. So, I don't think it's ever going to exist as just a normal city because I honestly think that it would look really ugly without all the decorations. So, um, it'll be fun while it lasts. All right, so the restaurant is done, and if you couldn't tell, we're kind of tackling this little area for this whole video. So this huge building is going to be the gym. I really wanted to make one because I thought it would be super fun. So I'm going for a super modern vibe for this one, which is a little bit out there compared to what I normally do, but I'm having like a bunch of glass and just kind of wait and see how it turns out. I really liked it. Right here, I thought the little cul-de-sac looked dumb, so I'm fixing it by making it actually like more of a square instead of a rectangle. So I knew that I wanted to have the bottom couple of levels in this building be glass, but I wasn't sure quite how tall I wanted it to be. You're gonna see me experimenting with it a lot, but what I eventually settled on was the bottom two levels to be like tons of glass, and then only one level above that, which will still have tons of windows, but they just won't cover the entire wall. Man, I think I've said this a bunch of times, but like all of these buildings have an awkward puberty stage because like they just have like when I'm thinking of how to make them, like there's not even a shape in my head. There's just a vibe in mind. So I'm just doing everything I can to get to achieve that, but there's a lot of trial and error that goes into it because again, there's not a solid plan. It's just a vibe that I'm going off of. Right here, I decided I wanted the doors to be centered on this wall, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I have not even started coloring yet, but with all of these like shutters and the lights that I've added, you can finally see this build start to take form. Like it really just like it kind of captures the essence that I wanted. So that's great. And if you're wondering what this area is, I knew I wanted some kind of rooftop deck. Maybe not a swimming pool per se, but something along those lines. Definitely a place to lounge. And now I'm just making the back less ugly. Of course, I'm not going to decorate it because I'm too lazy and broke. But yeah. And now I'm just adding a couple of Christmas trees because they're fun. And we're going to move on to the next build soon. So actually, just kidding about moving on to a new build soon. I forgot the roof was having an awkward puberty stage as well. I eventually figured it out. I used a thinner fence and the same pillars, just shorter. But it took a solid minute. I will say though, structurals have changed my life. Like the whole like scale tool and like free placing stuff like this is literally just a game changer. Honestly, this game has literally changed so much within the past 2 years. And like, yeah, the updates recently haven't been like amazing, but honestly, like there have been so many great things. Also with the new transform tool, I really think that it is also going to be a game changer. So I'm really excited to see how like it um, gets better with the next few updates. So I could be wrong, but I do believe that these Christmas decorations are one of the last things that I'm going to add to this build. I know I'm going to add a little stripe to the fences on top, and that doesn't make any sense right now, but it will. I'm also going to add some little potted plants in front of these windows. I thought it would look cute, but yeah, just give me a couple of minutes and we'll be well on our way to the hotel. All right, so I am well aware there is a tree in this building, so you would think that it would be a greenhouse or something like that. I don't know what was in my mind, but I just kind of realized that whatever I was thinking wasn't going to happen. So this is a hotel now, and I think it would be super cute anyways, like it's right near the restaurant and the bakery. So I think it's honestly kind of perfect. So there's going to be a little lobby in this area, and then also there's going to be a coffee shop in the front. I thought that would be fun. And then the upper floors are going to have all of the hotel rooms. And of course, since I've done so many modern builds this video, I am going back to my traditional idea. I've used this style a lot in this build, but I'm not getting tired of it, honestly. And I think as long as I just keep using different colors, it's going to stay like refreshing and like just, I mean, it adds to the cohesion. So I don't really have a problem with it. And I'm going to add all my windows. And yeah, you can kind of see the vibe of this build already taking shape because I've already done it a bunch of times, but yeah. So right here, what I'm making is a custom awning. Um, it went through a phase, I will say that. It was not the prettiest at first, but we did eventually figure it out, thank goodness, because it was a little rough there, but yeah, we figured it out. We always do. I really liked what it added to this build. It really made it look cuter. So and it also made it look a little bit different from the rest of the builds because I feel like I built in this style a lot, at least with this city. So all right, pillars now. And yeah, I'm going to keep working on this awning, and coloring it and stuff like that. I did change the colors eventually because they were a little bit too bright with all the lighting and stuff. And then I also didn't like the height at first, so I'm gonna change that. And then this is a whole to do, but there's also stripes on the bottom, and I wanted to remove those. Um, it was a lot of work for something so simple. So I really hope to God that you are not building this because I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking, but if you are, then I think your best bet is just kind of to copy what I'm doing. So I actually have yet to use Christmas trees, like real ones, in this whole build. So this is the first time. I thought I would use it because, the awning made things a little bit dark and I thought they were cute. So yeah, I'm also going to start adding some more trims to this build, and then I'm gonna get into windows and vinyl colors, stuff like that. So, since I'm placing windows and it's a little bit boring, I'm going to go off on a small tangent right here. So, I really enjoy doing builds like this, actually, like huge builds, because it means that I can't really plan everything out beforehand, meaning that I have to experiment a lot. And it's very freeing, honestly, like while building it. That is with the exception of the fact that, like, when I'm editing it, I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, half the time, like, it goes a little bit crazy and I'm like, all right, that's interesting. And then I have to like redo things like 8 times over. But I will admit, it just is really nice and it's a break from like having to plan everything out, build it twice. And it just kind of keeps me from getting burned out. That was actually how I got unburnt out at the beginning of the summer. So, if you are finding yourself in a similar situation, literally just make yourself do a project that you're not allowed to plan and you just have to like keep trying and be just satisfied with having a lot of trial and error. Like it's very freeing and I enjoyed it a lot. After all that, I figured I'd give you some music time because listening to my voice must be pretty annoying sometimes. Anyways, here is some more roof decorations because I thought it was a little bit plain. All right, so that little roof trim bit did not really work out. So instead, I'm going to add a wreath, and it basically fixes everything because I can just ignore it. Yeah, and now for some more lights. All right, so random cut there, but we're done with that hotel for now. Anyways, so this building, I wasn't really sure like what the inside would be, but I knew that I wanted to have like a Rockefeller Center style like ice rink on the building like right there. So that's kind of the vibe that I was going for, which doesn't make any sense because literally it was just an idea for a shape. But anyways, so I'm just placing down some like doors and some balconies because I thought that would look cool. I'm also going to incorporate an awning into this build because I thought it would also go well with it. And I'm just going to place down everything that I need to place down. So, like with all the buildings in this entire city, it started out pretty rough, especially with the color scheme. But actually, this building ended up being one of my favorites in the entire city. So, um, we got there eventually. But yeah, so if you're gonna copy any of them, might as well be this one because it turned out really good. Alright, so give me a second to fix that yellow color because it was ugly. I do admit my faults, and that was one of them. So you can kind of see it taking shape a little bit better now. And I'm also going to add some trims and then get started on more windows. Okay, so for some reason this line on the floor was just really bothering me. So I tried to cover it up with some trim, but then that just looked worse. And so I'm gonna try a few things to fix it. But eventually I just decided to let it be and just not worry about it. Okay, so now that we have the balconies figured out, now we can start adding some windows. For some reason, I really just feel like this is where it started to come together because then I started adding the pillars and everything, and I really, really like how this build turned out. Okay, so you're gonna have to ignore these windows for a bit because they looked ugly. I'm doing more indents in the walls. I know I've done them like every time, but they still look good and I'm still obsessed with them, so don't really care. Anyways, so that is what is going for those, and then I'm also going to add more arches because they just look good. I'll be honest, I didn't really know what to do with this area, but eventually I figured it out. I'm just going to use these windows, make them a little bit smaller, and I think that worked out pretty well. Alright, so now you can see me adding the little trims on that area. Some more trims just kind of everywhere just to make sure everything looks good. And I also am going to color my Christmas decorations and add a couple more windows to the side because, I mean, if there's going to be an ice rink there, the side of the building needs to look good. So this building was a wild ride. It went from hating it to loving it to hating it again. Um, this balcony area specifically was a little bit of a challenge, let's just say. But eventually I think it turned out okay. I'm just gonna be switching around things a lot on it because I was kind of struggling. Okay, so I wanted to add a little bit more roof decoration, so that's what I'm doing right here. Of course, gotta add some lights to it, and yeah. Speaking of lights, I'm going to also add a bunch of lights everywhere else on the build. Of course, some trees and other plants. And this gardening is basically the last thing that I'm going to do for this video, so enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the outro. And that is all for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving if you celebrate that holiday. Of course, be on the lookout within the next week. Part 3 should be up, and I'm really excited for you guys to see what kind of goes down. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, comment, subscribe, all the things, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!